guest made his acting debut at age 7. And then he retired and went back to being a kid. And then when that gig was over, he returned to the stage and screen, appearing in such films as The Empire Strikes Back and Lady Sings the Blues. And at the end of this month, he's got 2 made-for-television movies on CBS, Courage with Sophia Loren and Oceans of Fire. And he has a feature film coming out. Look how busy he is. #1 with a bullet. It's called, please welcome, Billy Dee Williams.
The first time William December Williams Jr. realized the power of style, he was 9 years old, standing in the doorway of his Harlem apartment, watching his mother knot a scarf that matched the lilac tint in her Sunday hat. Loretta Williams wasn't rich, but she treated color coordination like a survival code. When the world calls you girl, answer back with elegance, she told her twins, Billy and Loretta Jr., before escorting them to St. Martin's Episcopal on 122nd Street. Harlem in the 1940s vibrated with options for Black ambition, boxing gyms, stride piano parlors, Garveyite lecture halls, but fashion threads stitched them together. Billy absorbed that lesson long before he knew words like aesthetic. If you could make people tilt their heads to admire what you were wearing or the way you carried it, you bought yourself minutes of undivided attention, minutes in which to say, sell, or sing almost anything. Sing he tried, but it was drawing that paid his first bill. At 16, he landed a scholarship to the National Academy of Fine Arts and Design, a bastion of marble busts and oil paint hush where black enrollment was so rare, the janitor asked to see his admission card twice. Billy produced moody charcoal sketches of Harlem rooftops bleeding into the Hudson, winning the $500 Hallgarten Award, rent for 6 months. Yet tuition devoured savings quicker than his vending machine lunches, so he auditioned for a Broadway revival of Kurt Weill's The Fires of St. John on a dare. The director needed a tall Negro youth for a single line. Billy delivered that line with such a veneer of casual self-assurance, the director added 3 more. He pocketed $100 per week, more than his mother made running elevators at the Savoy. Stagecraft, it appeared, could subsidize paintbrushes. He spent the rest of the 1950s toggling between canvases and chorus lines, an understudy in House of Flowers, a bit part in Take a Giant Step, voiceover jingles selling Campbell's soup. Casting directors wrote pleasantly dignified on his resumes, code for non-threatening. Hollywood, when it noticed him at all, phoned only for background Negro butlers or light-skinned jazzmen. Billy studied Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte interviews, stealing poise, but he refused their clipped New England cadence. "I'm bringing Harlem elegance," he told his agent, "not Harvard diction." In 1961, a rehearsal assistant nicknamed him Billy D, chopping William December into a moniker, slick as a trumpet gliss. The name stuck, auditions multiplied, though bills still outnumbered them. Broke again in 1965, he sold one of his canvases, an abstract skyline daubed in cobalt and burnt sienna, to a Greenwich Village poet for $40, subway fare to California. There, he snared a supporting turn opposite Shirley Jones in the Universal picture The Dark End of the Street. Test audiences loved his relaxed baritone. Studio execs countered, too suave for a Negro sidekick. Try the Sidney Poitier earnest route. Billy declined, booking a 1-episode television appearance on Perry Mason instead, cashing enough residuals to help Loretta buy new drapes back home. But the big turn wasn't drama, it was sport. In 1971, ABC greenlit a made-for-television movie about Chicago Bears running back Gale Sayers and his white roommate Brian Piccolo, who died from embryonal cell carcinoma. Network brass wanted a feel-good race friendship film in a country still unpacking the '68 riots. Billy auditioned on a Wednesday, reading Sayers' line, "I love Brian Piccolo," devoid of macho shrink wrap. A week later, he was on set trading punchlines with James Caan, who played Piccolo. When Brian's song aired that November, critics hailed it as the first male weepy. Men cried in living rooms, advertisers panicked at lost beer commercials. ABC cheered a 32 share rating. Overnight, Billy D became proof a black male lead could melt mainstream hearts without playing domestic help or angry protester. Columbia Pictures leveraged the moment, casting him as the romantic lead opposite Diana Ross in Lady Sings the Blues, 1972. Playing Louis McKay, Billie Holiday's complicated lover manager, he unfurled charm like cigarette smoke, never obscuring Ross but enhancing her in every frame. His whispered, "You need a manager, baby," delivered while lighting her cigarette, ignited water cooler gossip. Ebony splashed his photo beside the caption, "Sex symbol rising." Moviegoers compared him to Valentino. Newspapers joked white husbands suddenly bought silk robes. Billy cultivated the hype, but kept perspective. "I learned seduction cooking oatmeal in a cold Harlem kitchen," he quipped on The Tonight Show. No one teaches cool better than poverty. Yet commercial cool demanded reinvention. In 1974, the Pabst Brewing Company sought a new spokesman for Colt 45, a malt liquor battling ghetto stigma and losing market share to Budweiser. Billy's agent balked. Some considered malt liquor ads career suicide, but he saw an image experiment. Show a refined black gentleman savoring the drink in a jazz lounge instead of a street corner. He insisted on creative control. Velvet blazer, soft trombone background, silver goblets. Tagline, it works every time. Sales jumped 30% within a year, especially among white college kids who equated his lounge charisma with aspirational partying. Black intellectuals criticized the commercialization of urban vice. NAACP circled, but never boycotted. Billy shrugged. If a product's poison, blame chemistry, not the brother in the suit. The campaign bankrolled 2 loft studios for his painting. Meanwhile, George Lucas hunted for an actor who could believably charm Han Solo and maybe steal Princess Leia's curiosity. Enter Lando Calrissian. Lucas admired Billy's Colt 45 debonair but needed more roguishness. Billy obliged, auditioning in a cape he borrowed from wardrobe at Mahogany. He landed the role without screen test chemistry. Harrison Ford muttered, "This guy makes me seem like a lumberjack." Filming The Empire Strikes Back, 1980. Billy ad-libbed lines like, "Hello, what have we here?" so convincingly that Lucas kept them. Lando was introduced as a traitor, but ended the trilogy piloting the Millennium Falcon through the Death Star core. Marginalized children finally saw a black hero in space, something NASA couldn't supply until years later. Racist fan mail arrived. Billy archived it under evidence of small minds, then laughed about cashing toy action figure royalties, though in truth his contract yielded flat merchandising fees, a costly oversight he never repeated. By 1984, Billy's image saturated pop culture. Stevie Wonder name-checked him in lyrics. Eddie Murphy parodied him on SNL, whistling Colt 45 jingles. The risk of typecasting loomed. Studios offered look-alike characters, flirtatious gambler, velvet pimp, urbane minister. He diversified with voiceover gigs, the Jackson 5 cartoon, radio ads, children's reading programs. He played complicated hustler Louis McKay again in Mahogany, earning praise for not sugarcoating jealousy. He campaigned to portray jazz master Lester Young in a planned biopic. Financing collapsed. Hollywood's open secret. They loved his charm but distrusted his range. Billy refused to beg for dramatic gravitas. Instead, he returned to his easel, painting hooded figures floating above cosmic backdrops, eventually staging a solo exhibit in Beverly Hills where Sinatra bought 2 canvases. Press asked why paintings showed mostly silhouettes. Billy answered, "Coolness is about suggestion, not exposure." Despite adjunct successes, acting paychecks thinned. The 1990s blockbuster world wanted hypermuscular leads, Schwarzenegger, Will Smith, or slapstick. Billy did self-parody to stay visible, cameoing as a dream lover on Martin, spoofing Colt 45 ads in Undercover Brother, guest judging on RuPaul's Drag Race where he quoted Shakespeare and advised queens to own the room like it's a cape. But when Disney announced the Star Wars prequels, fans petitioned for Lando's return. He voiced animated spin-offs, recorded audiobooks as Lando, and signed autographs at Comic Cons for longer lines than some newer trilogy stars. Conventions revealed his cross-demographic pull. Senior couples reminiscing Lady Sings the Blues, teenagers showing him Lando memes on phones, LGBTQ fans praising his gender-fluid fashion decades before the term trended. The public glimpsed deeper fluidity in November 2019 when an Esquire interviewer asked how he navigated masculine legacy. Billy answered, "I see myself as both masculine and feminine. I'm comfortable with myself." The internet erupted. At 82, had the original ladies' man come out as gender fluid? Morning shows debated. Twitter hailed him non-binary icon. Days later, he clarified on The View. He referenced Carl Jung's anima animus theory, not pronouns. "I'm all kinds of everything," he chuckled. Some listeners felt deflated, others applauded his refusal to fit new boxes any more than old ones. Either way, he stayed headline relevant, cool works every time. Disney eventually invited him back on screen, cape and all, for Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker 2019. At press junkets, he shared glucose monitoring tips between lightsaber hypotheticals, joking, "At my age, the only force I feel is metformin." He still painted daily, releasing a coffee table art book, Abstract Adventure, where each plate came with a mini essay about color, jazz, and how Harlem sunsets taught him violet is best friends with gold. Prints sold out after mentions by Pharrell Williams and Zendaya. Through it all, the Colt 45 catchphrase endured, mutating into memes. Crypto gurus hawked altcoins with "it mints every time." TikTok bartenders remixed the ads, pairing malt liquor with craft bitters. Billy recorded a playful reaction video, swirling a glass of expensive Bordeaux sourdough while parodying his own slogan, "Quality works every time." The clip went viral, proving a golden rule of the internet age. Nostalgia delivered by the original source carries more weight than 10,000 imitators. So what exactly did Billy Dee Williams change? He didn't invent suave black masculinity. Harlem Renaissance dandies did. But he syndicated it to mainstream America, selling it through network TV, blockbuster space opera, and even malt liquor aisles previously coded as low status. He taught Hollywood an arithmetic lesson. Charm multiplied by representation equals profit. The ripple is visible every awards season when a Julius Tenen or a Sterling K. Brown walks the red carpet in rich velvet, unafraid to whisper instead of bark. It's audible when Donald Glover's Lando in Solo radiates pansexual wit, the script nodding to Billy's boundary-smudging eccentricities. And it's tangible in Cosplay Rose at Comic-Con, where a 6-year-old black boy twirls a thrift store cape shouting, "I'm Lando," and a white Buffy fan mom corrects him, "You're the coolest guy in the galaxy." If a resume were measured not by roles, but by doors propped open, Billy's CV would stretch like a red carpet roll from Harlem to Hollywood Boulevard. He never won an Oscar, though Brian's song snagged a Peabody, but he won something Oscars can't buy: generational adoption. Grandfathers recall his TV movies, dads recall his beer ads, kids discover him via Star Wars Disney+. That's cross-platform immortality, built long before algorithms. His secret? The same lesson his mother taught tying that lilac scarf: command the eye, then earn the ear. He arrives suit-pressed, voice settled at a rumble you need subwoofers to catch, posture disinterested in shrugs. Interviews reveal no petty gossip. He praises competitors. Tabloid writers hate his unflappable serenity. Scholars decode it as performative resistance. Because in an industry where black men often survive by playing brute, clown, or holy martyr, Billy carved a lane where he could flirt, deal cards, double-cross, then save the day, all while leaving the brim of his hat unruffled. Today he splits months between a Los Angeles bungalow filled with acrylic fumes and a Wyoming retreat where he sketches mountains in quick charcoal strokes, chasing the gradient he first noticed on Harlem fire escapes. Occasionally, he Zoom lectures art students. Perspective is simply knowing where you stand. Few realize they're learning both painting and life. When asked to define cool one last time, Billy grins like dawn creeping over 125th Street and says, "Cool is conviction with a soft voice." He proved it endlessly, from Broadway boards to Cloud City, from Colt 45 chill to gender-fluid philosophy. Billy Dee Williams never raised his voice. He simply raised the bar. And yes, it worked every time.